Um, let's go to our final topic today. The Purdue Boilermakers are the final team we want to talk about. They lose on the road to Arkansas. My big thing with this game was it was shockingly chippy, which I love. Like, it's fun from a viewership perspective. This was the most entertaining game other than Michigan State, Tennessee for me for the weekend. But Purdue, I've held their flag, said they're the number one team in the country. They looked good. They didn't look great in this game. A lot of the things that plagued them last year are back, namely Braden Smith, 7 turnovers in 37 minutes in this game. As a team, Purdue shot 8 for 27 from 3-point range. Honestly, Fletch and Braden looked okay. They both hit 2 threes in this game. Mason Gillis hit 3 out of 8 threes. Everybody else, not really anything. There weren't many attempts outside of those 3 guys other than Lance Jones, who got the start. He's a 6'1" guard that transferred into Purdue. He's starting at the 3 for Purdue alongside Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer. He was 2 for 11 from the floor, 1 for 5 from 3 in this game in 27 minutes. Kaufman-Renn started at the 4. It was clunky with Zach Edey. That's the word I would use. He looked like he had a breakout summer, just still not all the way there. Hasn't figured it out. He's not a good free throw shooter. And then that big group of options they got at the 3, man, that they chose Lance Jones over. Mason Gillis looked great. And I know people tell me he's not a 3, but he looked really good. Outside of that, you got nothing from Miles Colvin and Brian Waddell. Nothing. Ethan Morton was out there for some cardio, 21 minutes, 4 rebounds, no assists, no points, no shots. Like, it's clear to me that Painter wants to go away from Morton and Gillis and wants to find a higher ceiling. The problem is the higher ceiling guys aren't ready. Miles Colvin is way in over his head. Brian Waddell barely played. And Heidi might be the best option here, and he's not ready right now either. So I need to be careful because I've gone over the top on how in I am on Purdue. I didn't know Lance Jones would be starting at the 3. I'm very out on that idea. Are you with me on that?
I am out with you on that idea, but I will say this. I'm gonna put a positive spin on this, and I actually want to get your thoughts on it. To me, I'm gonna say 2 guys, because from everything I've heard, and I don't want to go ahead and project for the rest of the season, but I think Purdue fans need to come to grips with the fact that this season you might not get anything from Colvin. This might be a wash for Colvin. I think there's been redshirt rumors even at that. So you look at the other options. You have Cam Heidi. Sorry, I know Purdue fans are really.
We have no idea if we're saying that right or wrong. I'm not gonna choose to comment officially on his name until I hear Robbie Hummel say it.
Okay, Camden Heidi and Brian Waddell, and you need something from one of those 2 guys. Do you get something from one of those 2 guys? I don't know. I felt like at this point of the season, you would be able, or not this point of the season, but I felt like at least at this point, it would be one of those 2 guys, not Lance Jones. So to me, that's an indictment on what those 2 guys have shown. And it's a little bit confusing to me because even when I was watching back in the scrimmages, like the black and gold scrimmages that Purdue had, I thought that Heidi and Waddell were actually pretty solid at the 3. And I thought it'd be one of them maybe to start. And Lance Jones didn't look bad in those scrimmages, but I just always looked at Lance Jones as a bench guy. So I don't know. It's definitely a cause of concern, I think, for me. But also, this game was just so weird. This was the weirdest of the exhibition games to me, just because it was called a little bit strange. Edey was in foul trouble, so it's and also they didn't feed Edey as much as they usually do, and that was kind of strange to me. But it was just a weird game overall. But I definitely think it's a cause for concern if Lance Jones is the answer at the 3. As your starting 3-man. And if you're going to let Ethan Morton get that much cardio.
I think Jones will shoot it better at times this year. Obviously, he's not going to shoot 2 for 11 every single game.
But also, sorry, Gene, I don't want to cut you off. Even if he does shoot better, you still don't want that to be your starting 3.
Yeah. To me,
have that shooting and come off the bench. He shouldn't be if that's your best option in starting 3, that's not a good thing.
I could be wrong on this, but to me, the way I have viewed this all offseason was that he was just brought in to play the David Jenkins role. He was brought in to be the backup guard across 2 positions and shoot some threes. And if that was his role, I like Lance Jones a lot. I think he can have a good season and shoot it better than he did last year, which, by the way, was 28% on 7 attempts. If you're telling me Purdue's starting this guy at the 3, that doesn't mean Lance Jones has been awesome. That hasn't been the report all summer. You tell me, we're pretty deep in Purdue circles right now. Have you heard anything on Lance Jones being awesome until 2 days ago? Never. No. Nothing. Like the overseas trip, was never like, ooh, look at Lance Jones. It was, look at Brian Waddell. He looks great. Ooh, Colvin's showing flashes. Heidi's the most athletic guy on this team. None of that has come to fruition because it's game one and they have to start a 6'1" guard who is barely making threes right now. Like a volume shooting guy that misses a bunch of threes that's 6'1". This is not D Brown, Darren Williams, Luther Head. This is now a Zach Edey generational talent constantly being surrounded by guys who can't shoot. How do you look at what Purdue happened last year and how the season ended and not go find a better answer than Lance Jones to solve this?
Can't shoot and small. If anything, even to break this down as 2+2, give me a taller 3 to make a better pass into Zach Edey.
Right. Like that's the thing.
Like,
if we get 3 weeks into this and Lance Jones is shooting in the 20s from 3, you have to go to somebody else. And it's probably Hyde or Morton, but like you have to go to somebody bigger because God knows Fletcher Lawyer can't guard anybody big. So like they're gonna get eaten up. Like by the time they play any team with a decent sized 3, like they're just gonna get eaten up.
Well, that's why Tremont Mark for Arkansas in this game was going crazy.
He went nuts.
Like he saw a 6'1" guard in front of him.
Arkansas looked very balanced, by the way. I don't want to minimize that. Like this Arkansas team is good. It's not like Purdue lost on the road to like a flimsy team. This Arkansas team is very good, very balanced. Every starter was in double figures. Like it's not hair-raising, alarming that Purdue lost this game. It's more so how they lost this game to me. And look, the counterpoint to all of this is Edey just missed stuff he never misses. Edey looks a little bit rusty right now. 4 for 8 from the floor for Zach Edey. He was in foul trouble. He ended up fouling out or 5 fouls in this game.
Missed a dunk. When he missed a dunk, I was like, all right, what's going on here?
He's not going to miss those. He didn't all last season. He's not going to miss them much. But maybe if he makes a couple he normally makes, Purdue wins this game. We're not talking about it. But I think the truth is there's a lot to figure out for this team. And we barely even mentioned, I mean, Braden had 7 turnovers. I said at the top, but this ain't the Big Ten. And when you get outside of the Big Ten, there's teams that pressure you. And Braden has struggled with pressure his whole career. And Arkansas wasn't like getting in his shit full court. This wasn't like a trap press like we've seen him struggle with. But this was a team with a bunch of athletic guards that will get in your shit. That's the type of team Braden struggles with. I liked Braden in general, but you said it at the top of the show. He was just trying to do too much. Like a lot of his turnovers weren't even forced. They were kind of careless, flashy stuff I don't think he needs. And again, I said I like that because I like the confidence and this game didn't matter. But it's something to watch because he can't turn the ball over 7 times on a team that's playing 3 guards. 2 of them aren't shooting. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, and you can't. The one thing I will say is that he could have came into this game and played super tentative because of all the outside noise of that. I don't want to make mistakes because everyone talks about how we make mistakes against teams that pressure and do all this like hard-nosed defense. He came out and he did try to make some plays. Granted, some of them were like, Jesus, Braden, just make the pass. Like he was doing some wild stuff, which obviously, on our podcast, we always commend making. If you can make a look away pass, I'm going to make a look away pass. But that's me in men's league, not striving for a Final Four banner.
Positive for Purdue. Zach Edey had stretches of this game, like significant stretches where he was not on the floor. Purdue outscored Arkansas in some of those stretches. I think we were kind of early on this train. We said we think Purdue would be a top 10 team in the country, even without Zach Edey. Some people laughed us off the internet for that. Kind of backed up by this. Arkansas is very good, and they looked very good without Zach Edey.
Laugh us back on, damn it.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I'm keeping my eye on that for sure. All right, give me a number to wrap this up. Code 1 through code 5. Code 5 is like sound the alarms, evacuate. We're off the Purdue bandwagon. Code 1 is they're fine. National championship still in the picture.
Code 2.
Okay. Elaborate.
It's code 2 in 4 or 5 games. If I still see Lance Jones at the 3 and he's shooting the way he's shooting right now, then I'm going code 4, maybe code 5.
Okay. It's code 3 for me. It's very alarming to me that Lance Jones is starting and playing so many minutes while he misses shots. It's It's as alarming to me as the whole like Terrence Williams is back in the lineup for Michigan. But at least with Michigan, Terrence Williams is hitting the shots. Like the story is he's starting now because he's hitting shots. Lance Jones is starting and he's not hitting shots, and he's still starting because all the other options aren't good enough. That's horrifying. It's not what I signed up for when I said I'd be the leader of the Purdue national championship train this year.
You didn't sign up for all this.
I also just talked myself into code 4. That's not a code 3. That's code 4. I can't express enough how scared I am. They're starting a 6'1" guard that doesn't make shots. Horrifying stuff.
Going to be a 6'1" guard, got to make shots.
Horrifying stuff.